Welcome, IndyCar fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for a special edition of the IndyCar Report. Elijah Poe's and my reaction to qualifying at Road America on Saturday in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And Elijah, the qualifying was was small news compared to what else is going on around the series. Silly season has officially begun, and Elijah, it officially began about 2 minutes after we finished the IndyCar Report this week.
It did, with news of maybe Scott Dixon on the move, news of maybe Felix Rosenqvist, who just won the 500 less than a month ago. Silly season is in full swing, and I couldn't be happier. It's one of the best parts of the season when we've got racing on the track, but so much off-track drama.
This might be the silliest of seasons we've ever seen.
It's a big one. You throw in a name like Scott Dixon. I mean, if you told me last year that there's even a chance that he is out of a seat at Ganassi, I would have told you you're crazy. And then again, literally 3 weeks ago, if you told me that there's a chance that Felix Rosenqvist is out of a seat at Meyer-Shank Racing, I would have said you're crazy. So, I mean, that's just the great part about it.
And as we go through the qualifying results here, Elijah, normally we talk about the day they had or their expectations of the race. About half these guys have been mentioned in rumors in the last few days. So we'll talk more about what we're hearing about each driver as we go through drivers 1 through 25 here, and his 5th consecutive pole position, the first to do that since Danny Sullivan in the 1980s. Alex Poe takes the pole.
Yeah, not even really particularly close, having 3/10 up on David Malukas in second. He's just incredible. I mean, it's just going to be a race to see who can beat Alex Poe tomorrow. He's usually so good around this place. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 10 laps in and he's got a 15, 20-second lead. It's just how good he is. Really can't wait to see what he can do, because usually Road America, you never know. There's going to be a yellow somewhere. The straights are just too quick, and some of these corners are just too hard of a heavy braking zone not to get an incident at some point. It's going to be interesting for Alex Poe, I think.
Well, and the racing's always so close there as well that you're going to have incidents throughout. The last few road courses have had none. There's no way that's happening at this one. It's going to take a strategy probably to beat him.
You're not going to be able to do what Alex Poe is doing and win. You have to do something different. And with the drivers that are behind him, I really think it's looking like it could be a pretty damn good race.
And you mentioned David Malukas in second, Alex Poe and David Malukas, the front row. Neither of those guys are going anywhere next year, but we start with the second row, and that is Meyer-Shank teammates Marcus Armstrong and Felix Rosenqvist, and both of them are big topics in the rumors this weekend.
I think for Marcus Armstrong especially, he's still a Chip Ganassi racing driver, and I think Ganassi would be crazy not to move him up. I think he's proved himself and more within these last 2 years, but especially this year. He has just looked head on shoulders, just a really good driver. He's in the top 10 consistently. He's always near the top 6 in qualifying. Sure, you might not have some of the best finishes in the world, but he's still, a newborn compared to some of these drivers.
And proving to be good on every circuit.
Yeah, he looks like he can really do it all. And I think he's going to be a talent that's in this series for a long, long time.
And from the sound of things, sure looks like Felix Rosenqvist is headed to Andretti next year.
Yeah, which is an interesting move. I get why he would want to move to Andretti, why Andretti would want him. But, man, you look at the results Meyer-Shank's been able to pull off this year. Obviously winning the 500. He's been consistently fighting for pretty solid points week in and week out. But then again, I don't know any driver on the grid, if Andretti comes calling, they wouldn't pick up the phone.
Yeah, very few. There are a few, but not very many.
Yeah.
And Meyer-Shank's going to be starting from scratch with their race car drivers, it looks. But you know what we've figured out over the years is they know how to pick drivers.
It's pretty much a de facto Chip Ganassi 2.0 team, and they've just been really solid over these years. And not only have their drivers been good, but their cars have been good, and I think that proves with a 3rd and 4th result today for them.
Speaking of potentially on the move, in 5th was Marcus Ericsson. If Felix Rosenqvist goes to Andretti, we're looking at potentially Dennis Hauger to Andretti as well. Is Marcus Ericsson on his way elsewhere?
I think Marcus Ericsson will unfortunately be out of that seat, which I say unfortunately because I think he's had a pretty good season so far. He's been arguably, other than Kirkwood, but we'll get into him today, he's probably been the most consistent driver at Andretti. And we know he's good at the 500, always is. So I'll be interested to see where Marcus lands. I think Meyer Shank maybe could be a possibility. You know, he's raced for Ganassi before, obviously won a 500 with Ganassi. So I think Marcus is going to fall on his feet, and there's just no way he doesn't have a seat going into these next couple of years, just because 100% he's going to give you a shot to win at Indy.
You would think so.
And I think he proves himself on the road courses and street courses as well.
Yeah.
It's not
Pretty
like, it's not like a Connor Daly where he's kind of an oval specialist. No, he's a pretty good driver. I would even see him at Arrow McLaren. I don't know if he'd go over to a Chevy because he's been in a Honda all these years in IndyCar, but he's definitely got some options. He's a talented driver.
A little boring, a little inconsistent, but he'll get you results, that for sure.
Yep.
Starting next to Ericsson in the 6th spot, that is Scott McLaughlin, also going nowhere.
He'll probably end up at Penske. He'll be a Penske lifer like Will Power was. That's a good result for Scotty Mack. I'll be interested to see what he can do during the race. Hasn't really competed for a race win this year. I don't particularly see that happening here, but crazier things have happened in an IndyCar race.
And then potentially on the move, both guys in the 4th row, Nolan Siegel and Caio Collett. Interesting, especially Collett is kind of raised some eyebrows the last few weeks. It might be on the radar of some of the big teams. Now we move to row number 4, and in the 7th spot, someone whose name has come up in rumors the last couple of days, in that AJ Foyt wants to see better final results from Santino Ferrucci.
I think he obviously had a podium here at Road America last year, and I think starting 7th, I think it maybe could be an opportunity for him to get in the top 5. The thing with Santino is always, though, can he keep his head on his shoulders? And if he's able to, I think he can have a good result. If not, I wouldn't be surprised to see him moving on.
And starting 8th is Nolan Siegel and an Arrow McLaren, a guy who we've criticized quite a bit, but the fastest of the Arrow McLarens today, we're starting to see some positives out of Nolan Siegel.
Honestly, when I look at these results, that's the name that pops out of anybody else. Nolan Siegel up in eighth place, I think, is a fantastic result. We've said so many times that there's no possible way he's in that seat next year. But I will say, if he has an impressive second half of the season, I mean, the kid's only, I think, 21, 22 years old. I think if he's able to have a good second half of the season, I mean, hell, he out-qualified Pato O'Ward. That's impressive enough.
In row 5, a driver who has been named in some rumors lately because he has raised some eyebrows of late, and that's Caio Collett. 2 drivers in the top 9 for Foyt.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what Foyt's been able to do. They've had a good year at Road America last year and have turned it around, and looks like just as consistent as they were last year. Can't wait to see where Kyle's able to finish. And honestly, I think the world is his oyster. I think he could really go anywhere he wanted. If Joseph Newgarden moves on from Penske, maybe Penske calls him up. I think that could be in the possibility of where he could land. I'm not exactly sure where he could land because I feel like he really could go anywhere because I think he's got the edge over Hauger in just promising rookies.
It's crazy he's the only Brazilian in the field and he's a rookie. I just discovered one day, looked at it, was like, you know what? He's the only Brazilian in the entire field. The field used to be half Brazilian, Elijah.
I know. I love that he is just as feisty as the former Brazilians in the series as well. He is rapidly quick, and I can't wait to see where his career goes. You know, we've got such a good IndyCar paddock where, some of these veteran drivers are absolute studs, but you look at some of the new drivers and even drivers maybe in the middle of that, and just top to bottom, just really, really impressed with the product IndyCar has been putting on the track.
No doubt about it. And my pick coming into the weekend, Elijah, was Pato O'Ward. He has just not had a great season starting on the outside of row 5.
I'll be interested to see what he can do in the race because, he was quickest in practice too. And I think maybe qualifying just didn't line up for him. And I think he could be a big mover starting in 10th. You look at Caio Collett and Nolan Siegel in front of him. If he's got the better car, I think he can make light work of them and be up, maybe competing for a top 5. You never really know.
And Elijah, just 104 wins coming out of row 6. Starting 11 is Will Power.
I think that's not a horrible result for him. Obviously, we know where Kyle Kirkwood ended up. So comparative for the team, he is literally smack dab in the middle.
And he hasn't come out in any of the rumors or anything, but I would think that right now the relationship between he and Andretti has not been exactly smooth.
I really think it's a toss-up. I would be shocked if he wasn't there just next year, just because I don't think there's any team in the world that would look at Will Power and say, "Oh, surely he won't be bad 2 years in a row." But you really never know. Age is a thing in IndyCar, and he's definitely not the driver he once was, even though he's still very, very skilled. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be interesting to see how Andretti plays that because they have so many opportunities.
That's right. And the skills are still there well enough that he is a contender when you roll into town each week. There's still that.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Starting next to him, Scott Dixon, who the rumors are roaring. The final rumor is he's probably going to be back with Ganassi next year, but what we're hearing is lots and lots of stuff, including it doesn't like playing second fiddle to Alex Poe and wants to go elsewhere, that he's using that as a negotiation tactic, that he really wants to be with. It's everywhere with Scott Dixon.
It's absolute silly season, to coin it perfectly. It really is. I can't imagine he would be mad at being second to Poe because at this point, there's been 25 other drivers who have been second to Poe for the last 5 years.
It's a little frustrating to be on that team to think maybe you're the second best guy in the world and he's getting the.
But I think tomorrow for an outlook, just starting in 12th, Road America is a Scott Dixon track because if you can save your tires and you can save your fuel, we're talking about almost a 2-minute lap around this place. So if he's able to do that, he could really put himself into contention if he gets the right caution, if the yellow comes out at a certain time, get a safety car. Really, the possibilities are endless for Scott Dixon if he's able to pull off a strategy.
Starting 13th, Christian Lundgaard. Again, just so much inconsistency from Arrow McLaren.
It's been a rough year. I'm already interested to see what they look like next year because part of me thinks there's no way a team as big and as financially set as Arrow McLaren can look like this for more than 2 years. But man, they've been just a non-factor, which is sad.
Starting 14th, and I don't know why he wasn't penalized positions for the coming out of the pits, knowing that Will Power was coming and then driving right in his path in the middle of a qualifying run. And producer Susie even yelled, "What a prick!" Romain Grosjean starting 14th.
Yep, it's going to be one of those days where Roman's probably going to end up in a top 10 or he is going to be dead last. You never really know with him, and especially starting in the middle of the pack. He's such a wild card.
There's going to be conflict.
No matter what.
No matter what. He's so French, man.
Hey, I love the personality. Bring it to IndyCar. We need a bad guy.
He's the only one. I always say I cheer for 24 guys.
That's great.
Bad day again for Joseph Newgarden. Just didn't have it all weekend so far. He started.
Yeah, still nursing that foot. I'm going to be interested to see where he can finish just because obviously Felipe Nasser's still there on standby. At this point, Joseph's qualified the car, so Felipe jumped in that car. He'd be starting at the back. I think Joseph will run tomorrow, and where he can put that thing, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how much that foot is limiting him. Penske's been pretty quiet about it. Joseph won't really dive into details about it. Joseph really doesn't dive into anything since the push-to-pass scandal. It's kind of just a big question mark on Joseph Newgarden. I feel like he's had this question mark surrounding him since that push-to-pass scandal.
Starting next to him is Christian Rasmussen, who hasn't quite figured out the road courses quite like the ovals.
Yeah, that's for sure. But going to be interesting nonetheless. Get some long straights and talk about a driver who's willing to make some risky moves, and it's going to be him.
Yeah, and he'll be right behind Romain Grosjean, so there you go. Starting in 17th, another guy in the center of all kinds of rumors, a guy who is supposedly heading to Andretti next year, Dennis Hauger. But now the rumor is maybe they want Felix Rosenqvist, and Hauger's on the outs, which might make him a free agent. So all kinds of rumors flying about Dennis Hauger.
Yeah, I kind of look at Dennis like I look at Caio Collett. I think Andretti would be nuts to let him go because eventually Will Power is going to be out of the sport, guys. Eventually he's going to be out of the sport. And as good as Kyle Kirkwood is, you never really know. I mean, IndyCar, you just don't know.
Kirkwood could use
such
better teammates, maybe. That's all I'm saying.
He could. Yeah, I mean,
Younger.
I think Kirkwood would be in a great position to be a veteran on a team and lead it. He's always kind of been alongside or maybe even a little bit under Colton Herta when he was in IndyCar. So let's solidify this as Kyle Kirkwood's team maybe. And I would love to see Dennis Hauger and Andretti. I think it would be a good fit, and I think it would be a good place for him to learn. I think obviously he's learned at Delcoin Racing this year, but let's get him in a car that gets up to pace, and I think he can really be special.
And Kyle Kirkwood will be one we'll be watching in the race. He's starting next to Hauger in 18th.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get up into the top. Just not a great qualifying performance, which is a bummer because, we really want him to be able to challenge Alex Palou. And no matter where Kirkwood finishes, it looks like Palou is going to get a big points jump on him. But then again, David Malukas is up there. So, it's all pretty close at the top. But when you're at the top, you don't want a performance like he just put in starting in 18th.
In row 19, Kiffin Simpson and a Ganassi, who it's going to get hot in his seat.
Yeah, it probably has been for the whole year because it's just not looking great. I'll give him credit, though. That Sunoco dealer, a partnership he brought in. It's a great-looking car, but the car has not had the results he's needed. And I would be very shocked if he's able to stay next year. Don't know if he'll be on the grid even. I really don't know. We know he brings backing, so maybe at a Delcoin. We just don't know. But I know for sure he probably will not be in that seat next year.
It'd be hard to imagine. Starting next to him, disappointing weekend for Rahal Letterman. Graham Rahal starting 20th.
Yeah, brutal. We talked about them this week. I thought, they had 2 cars in the Fast Six here last year. They had a pole with Louis Foster, and man, they just look absolutely nowhere, which is a shame. Really is, especially the stretch they've been on this year. Graham having 3 podiums, but yeah, it doesn't look good for them this week. It might be pretty much a wash.
Starting 21st, somebody who's going nowhere is Alexander Rossi.
I think Rossi in that ECR fit is a match made in heaven. I think over the next couple of years, that team continues to bring in funding and has some great sponsors. I wouldn't be surprised if that team's able to make a jump and maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, look like a Meyershank Racing here in the next coming years. And I think Rossi's a good leader for that.
And starting next to Rossi is Rinus VK, a former Ed Carpenter Racing, and looks like maybe on the move again.
VK, he's always on the move. It feels like he's always in a contract negotiation, trying to go somewhere. I could maybe see him at AJ Foyt, depending on what happens. I think we know how good he is in that Chevy, especially around Indy. He's been in some races every once in a while, and I think he could honestly put on some pretty good performances for AJ Foyt Racing if he were to go there.
And then Rahal Letterman Racing has the 12th row all to itself with Mick Schumacher on the inside, Louis Foster on the outside.
Pretty much same thing I said with Graham. It's just a bad week for RLL. It just feels like this is happening all the time, which is a shame for a team that has so much money.
Mick Schumacher has to be wondering when he's going to wake up from this nightmare.
Yeah, it's just not going well. And same thing for Louis Foster, who showed moments of promise last year, obviously winning a pole here last year. Yeah. But yeah, this is rough for RLL, and it has been for a while now, except for Graham.
And then, as consistently as Alex Palou is in the front of qualifying, Stingray Robb finishes last, and he'll start 25th in his own row.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he is back in the IndyCar series next year. Love the name. I mean, come on, it's the best part about him.
It's awesome. Seems like a great dude, too.
He does. In all the interviews, it sounds like just the nicest guy in the world, but that doesn't get you results, and boy, he needs them.
He needs them. All right, well, I guess I'm going to ask it this way, Elijah. Who are you picking to finish second tomorrow?
I'm going to pick David Malukas, and I think David Malukas, if he gets the right strategy, could maybe be a winner here. Pretty close on the pole time, not really close. I mean, nobody's really close, but if he's able to get a good yellow, I think he'll be in position at least to maybe beat Palou. But yeah, it's going to be a Palou weekend.
I'm going to take Palou, Elijah, as well, but I want to say I think Meyer Shank is going to have a really good day tomorrow. I think
that would be interesting.
Marcus Armstrong was the one car that had pace with Palou most of the weekend.
Yeah, that's true, and it would be big for him to pick up a win.
It would be big for them to win a race other than the Indy 500.
Yeah, that's true. They've got a pretty good rap sheet. They're going to have to sadly break that up.
If you're going to have 2 wins at the same course, that's the one you want.
Yeah, you got that right.
Well, Elijah, we spent a little extra time going over the qualifying because there was so much to talk about, and we're going to come back and do it again tomorrow after the race. Thank you so much for your time. Before we go, a little bonus. Tell us about covering drag racing today in Iowa.
Yeah, I was out at Cordova Dragway in Cordova, Illinois, right along the Mississippi. Supposedly the oldest drag strip in America. It's celebrating their 70 or 75th year this year. Out at the Summer Nationals, and man, I thought IndyCar was loud. These cars are so loud, so loud. It was super fun. I think motorsports in general, I mean, it's kind of like when you're at IMS. You don't really see anybody pouting or having a bad day. People are talking to each other. The racing community is just so great.
It sure is. Elijah, thanks so much. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Thanks so much to Elijah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please do us a huge favor. Share this podcast with an IndyCar fan in your life. Help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is talking about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about every single day. How'd you like that one, Susie?
23 minutes of gold.
23 minutes of gold. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love you, Susie.